Um, I don't know how this starts, so uh, hi, welcome to Ripped Jeans,
Ripped
the
jeans.
first podcast of Ripped Jeans. Ripped Jeans is this channel. We have a couple of films,
Yeah.
um, uh, but we decided to make a podcast. Well, technically, we decided to make a podcast like a year
A
ago.
while ago.
And now we finally actually have the means to do it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what we're going to talk about or anything, but I'm Ethan, and
Yeah.
that guy is Jake.
I'm Jake.
So this is Rip Jeans. Trying to find a flow or format for this. I'm thinking maybe sometimes we'll invite people on or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
but we just want to talk and find the flow or anything like that.
I like talking.
I know. um, I don't know. You said you saw a Mormon today.
Yeah, I didn't see a Mormon today. I saw a Mormon a couple of days ago, and I only knew that they were because these two people had name tags on, which said the Jesus Christ Church of Latter-day Saints. Like,
Hmm.
that's Mormons, right?
Yeah, that is Mormon.
The only reason I knew that they were Mormons is because it said elder on the name tag, and like I've heard the Book of Mormon, like the musical, so I'm like, oh, they're Mormons.
Yeah.
But there was this guy with the name tag, and it said his name was Elder Cox. His last name was Cox. And how
Why
does
is
that
that funny,
work?
Jake? Tell
Well,
us.
you see, his last name was Cox, Cox, but there's also this other word, Cox, which is funny
Because
because it is.
thank you.
And it sounds like that word.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah?
You got something to say? And thus, I told this story to them, and they were like, what if, well, Mateo was like, what if his first name was Richard, like Dick? Like Dick Cox.
Why is that funny?
Well, you see. But then he was like, wait, what if his middle name was Peter? Richard Peter Cox. Dick Peter Cox. I don't know. So that's what is happening in my life.
Hmm. Um, yeah. I don't really know what topics are going on, but you said that you actually had a few things that you were thinking of
I
talking.
was just daydreaming while eating my dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
About.
I'm trying to think. I thought about talking about my birthday party
Oh yeah, you got birthday.
because my birthday party is tomorrow.
How old are you?
21.
21.
I don't know. There's not much to talk about, but
um.
it'll happen.
Mm-hmm.
I did have a dream about it last night,
Yeah.
which was weird because I don't like having dreams about stuff
No.
that are supposed to actually happen. Because in the dream, I like kept forgetting stuff. Like I had to leave the party multiple times to go to the store and pick up more stuff because
Oh,
I
I
was
hate
like,
that.
oh, I don't have this.
It's like
So I
my
had to leave
worst
my own
fear.
party, and it was just weird.
I bet it was better without you in it.
That's not true. Oh my gosh,
Oh my god,
Cameo.
it's a cat.
Kid named Fingers here.
Hi, Charles.
I love him.
um, yeah, that sucks. I hate those kinds of dreams. Or like, that's like my number one fear. It's like going to one location, but remembering that you have to go back and get something else.
Hmm.
Like not being prepared at all. Kind
Yeah.
of sucks. One thing that I thought we could talk about is kind of like I don't know. We on this channel we made like a few short films for.
That's true.
I did it mostly because it was a grade on my uh, at college. But yeah, the first one that we did together was Make It Better.
Make it
So we have
better.
like a
I'm
little
trying to
poster up
point to
there.
it.
Yeah, it's right there.
Make it better.
Um, which I directed and kind of I didn't really write it, but I'll talk more about that. And this guy starred in
I
it
was a
because
star.
mainly because his schedule lined up and he was the closest person I could think of.
Yeah. So I was the easiest choice.
Yes. Um, yeah, so like I didn't really write it per se. I kind of just like had a thought in my head and I had like a week to do it. Um, so I kind of just like it's a short film. It's 30 minutes.
It's a
Uh,
long short film.
well, by definition, a short film is anything between, I believe it's like 5 or 10 minutes and to, or like 10 minutes to 45 minutes. That's
Yeah,
technically a
that
short
makes
film.
sense.
It
It was pretty
yeah,
long for the assignment,
it
though.
did
But
because the assignment said 10 minutes.
you're like,
And I was like,
actually,
well, I thought it wasn't going to be that long at first, but then I started editing and I was like, oh,
yeah,
wow. And I couldn't really cut anything because I had a story in my mind and I needed to
yeah, you
put
needed to
it.
tell it.
Um, but yeah, I didn't really write it because I had a short amount of time and it was a silent film, so I didn't
Mm.
really have any lines. Uh, so I took out my notes app and then I just fucking I literally put down bullet points of what's
Mm.
happening and stuff. So basically, what it's about is about a young man, his wife or girlfriend died recently, and he's just been in a depression. But then he finds another purpose in his life. He figures out that he can't continue on this depression path, so he tries to make it better and and kind of escape the depression through music, which I know that a lot of people relate to.
Mm.
Like I know when I'm sad, sometimes I'll put on some music that I like, and it does help.
Yeah,
Um, do you want to talk about a little bit of it, just
why
as
not?
the actor, kind of thing?
It was interesting having it being like, I guess, my first experience filming behind a camera, because I've done so much acting on stage,
Mm-hmm.
and then film is totally different. But I thought it was like a really good way to ease into it, just not having any lines at all and sort of being able to go off of direction instead of lines,
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Yeah, because it was a silent film, I got to, and there wasn't actually a script, so I got to like tell you before the scene happened what
Mm.
your character's going through, and kind of um at times just like directing you while I'm filming,
Hmm.
kind of. And that took about what, like 3 or 4 days
Yeah,
around that time.
sometime within a week.
Yeah. Then
So,
and then I literally spent the whole night editing.
mm,
I started at like I want to say I started editing at 9 p.m.
hmm,
and then didn't finish until almost 4 a.m., I think.
that's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, I do agree. Because that was my first kind of directorial debut type thing.
Hmm.
Because like you, I've only been acting on stage and a
Hmm.
little bit of directing on stage as well.
Yeah.
But like I want to pursue a career in both theater and film.
Hmm.
So when the assignment was given, I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do, but what the hell, I'm going to try it anyway because there's no better time to start.
I think you did a good job for not knowing what to do,
I know
pretty much.
I felt bad for you at times because I kept directing you during the scenes and you were kind of lost at times,
Yeah.
but I had a short period and I thought of it and I didn't really have time to write or anything.
Hmm.
But yeah, I was just like, you know what, why not? And then I was like, I just need someone who's available. And then I remember you said you didn't work all weekend.
Hmm.
And so I was like, all right, let's do it there. and I added a couple homages in there. Um, like I like a couple like Up a little bit inspired it
Yeah.
a little, and then also like the very ending when it transitions from black and white to color.
Hmm.
Um, I did a little homage to The Wizard of Oz,
Wizard of
which was
Oz.
kind of my first movie. I that and Shrek, but mostly Wizard of Oz. I would watch on repeat
Hmm.
throughout my entire childhood. I was obsessed with The Wizard of Oz. I love that movie so much. It was like the first one with like Technicolor, filmed
Yeah.
in Technicolor, and like I don't know. I don't think there has been like it was like one of the first like movies I would say of a new generation
Hmm.
because a lot of it was silent, and then they were doing the transition into sound pictures, and then now color.
Yeah.
Um, so like I don't think there has been a movie since basically. I think that like changed the industry for good. I think that was one of the
Hmm.
first ones.
Yeah.
And like I kind of knew in the back of my head at a young age that I wanted to pursue, not really knowing, but it was in the back of my head of
Yeah.
doing storytelling and directing and acting at the
Hmm.
same time because my mom told me, and I do remember bits and pieces, that when I would put it on, I would try and act out and talk for each
Yeah.
character, and like I would make my siblings do it, or I'll make my mom do it, or someone who's watching me do it, and I'll be like, "No, you gotta do it this way. Let's do it again," kind of
Hmm.
thing.
That's
And
pretty funny,
I
actually.
know, but yeah, I really like the Wizard of Oz.
Hmm.
It is, yeah, I would say top five movies, and we had a little experience with it too. It's got
We
good
went
memories.
to Oz.
I know it's so fun.
Oh man.
Oh, a little thing. We got really, really high, and we just watched The Wizard of Oz, and we were, they were. It was a strong brownie, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not really an edible guy because, like, it's like nothing and then it suddenly is there.
Oh
And
my
you're
god.
like, well, this is my life now.
Yeah, that was my first time with edible, and I was like, oh, like you hit instantly. Like you took little bites. I just shoved the whole thing in my mouth,
Yeah.
and we literally went to Oz. It made me so nauseous and sick, though.
Yeah.
Ugh, ugh. The smell still haunts me.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, it
I
was.
can even. I don't think I remember smell at all, thankfully.
Yeah, I remember the smell of the brownie because it smelled so bad.
They're weird.
Yeah, and yeah, I remember it was just like nothing, 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 and then oh my god.
Yeah, once you realize that it's like pretty instantaneous.
um, yeah. Do you want to talk about make it better just a little bit more? I know I
Um,
was talking a lot.
Maybe. I mean, it was interesting personally because the way that character found like his new life through music was through playing the trumpet. And I played the trumpet in real life, but I'm like I've been playing it for years, so I'm pretty good at it. But I had to like pretend that I wasn't good, which was an interesting, I don't know. I was like, if I was worse at this, what would I be doing right now? And then I had to slowly like make the transition to being a little bit better and then a little bit better and then the best, I suppose. And it was also interesting because that was my first time like playing my trumpet in like a public setting. Like we went out into like the Centerway Square and there wasn't really that many people there, but I was like playing an instrument in front of people, which is very nerve wracking.
Yeah, even though that you've done concerts before and stuff, but it's still
It was
nerve wracking.
different. It's
Yeah,
so much different,
it's kind of
so
like
much more different.
it's because like you're
I don't know.
surrounded by people that are also playing instruments, but when you're like alone out there, you were like exposed,
It was
kind
just me. I was improvising,
of.
improvising jazz. I can't improvise jazz.
Jazz just needs to flow through you.
Yeah, I mean, I can improvise jazz with preparation. I've
Mhm.
done that before. Like, yeah, I've been in jazz band and I can improvise in a key. But that is if I have a little bit more time to prepare myself and I also have specific, like, what am I even talking about? Specific chords. You're given specific chords to use when you're improvising in a jazz ensemble. And I didn't even have any of that in my head. I was like, I guess I'll pick a key and then play a bunch of notes and try and figure out a melody from it. All in front of people and also being filmed. And I think I someone gave me money, right?
Yeah, there's
Someone
like
gave
a
me like a
little girl
quarter.
gave you like 50 cents or something.
Yeah, some girl gave me 50 cents.
Um,
So,
yeah, and you also did the background score for it too.
yeah, I liked doing that. I did like a piano score. I'm not a piano player, but again, I improvised and I sort of did a similar thing where I improvised and I picked a specific key and then just sort of figured it out. Like I set my phone down on the keyboard and turned on the voice memos and just started improvising in a certain key for 10 minutes straight. And I did like 3 different themes just to sort of reflect the changes the character was going through. So I picked like 3 different keys for all of that that all sort of related to each other and sort of came up with themes for each of them. And it like lined up surprisingly well with a lot of the shots actually, which was I think the coolest thing.
I know, because I didn't give you the.
Cuz I wasn't looking at the video at
No,
all
while
when
he
I was
was doing that,
playing.
I was at work, and then right after work, I had to go and edit. So, but I couldn't. I didn't have enough time to find like free music to put under the score since
Mhm.
it was silent, so the music was a big part of that.
Mhm.
Um, so I knew that Jake was very. He took music theory and very talented with music. So I was like, "Hey, could you like the film's about like 30 minutes ish long. Could you possibly do a couple of scores in there?" And he did it right then and there, and it was perfect. Honestly, it did line up.
Mhm.
I do listen to some of it still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really cool.
You're like, "What is this? I want to remember."
And we did that all the way in November, November, October ish.
Yeah. I think October maybe, or maybe
Oh
even
yeah, it was because it was before Halloween.
yeah,
Wow, almost a year ago.
way back in the day.
And it does have like I'd like to say first first movie syndrome. You can tell, but they definitely I definitely learned from it and
Yeah.
creating more and stuff. I keep learning as I go, and it's
Yeah.
like it's amazing. Which leads me to the next one that we did.
Yeah.
Where are you? There it
The
is. The
screech.
Screech, which is kind of like an homage to all these like for me, I did the same thing. There was an assignment. I chose to do that because I'm like, I learned some things, so I want to test this out. And I really like horror, so I wanted to do a little horror piece. Um, so I did the same thing with Make It Better. I didn't have a script or anything. I just directed along the way. I had a vision. I did it with my 2 roommates, Jake right here, and then Mateo, who's doing something. Yeah, so I did the same thing, but I did it as like a funny homage to all these like 90s and 80s horror tropes kind of thing. Like what you would kind of like what you expect to find in a horror movie. it's in it
Mhm.
in a funny way.
Yeah.
I didn't really take it that seriously. Plus, I felt sick during the entire of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because right before I threw up, but I
Oh,
needed to get it done.
you're
Because
like, well, I gotta do it,
yeah, I gotta do it
so
because it was
we're
due the
just gonna
next.
do
It
it.
was due in the morning, so
Yeah.
I did that, and that was the like the is that that was like the week or no that was the Monday after we did the aliens. We did the aliens all weekend, and then because we were all tired.
Yeah. That's
I
crazy
know.
to
So in
think about.
December, yeah. Um.
Dang.
So then, oh yeah. So like I just told Jake and Mateo what their characters were. I had Jake as the main antagonist again, and then I had Mateo as the Screecher, which is the monster that's living in this guy's house. So basically, this character named Seth comes home and is just doing his normal, Seth things,
Hmm.
what people do, you know.
Normal person behavior,
Yeah,
Yeah.
going home, greeting your cat, that kind of thing, eating. But like, there's this creature roaming around his house. Fun fact: my cat Charlie is uh, makes an appearance in it. He had a
He
much bigger
makes a
role.
cameo.
He had a much bigger role in it, but he would not be in front of the camera.
He
Is
was
he
very
still in
hard to
here?
work with.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he went somewhere else, I guess.
Yeah, see, he doesn't even go in here. But yeah, so I did that. Um, and like at the end, Seth dies in the hands of the Screech. Um, a cool aspect I did with it is I'm always like fascinated with like Foley sounds. So like during the movies and TV shows, all like the sound effects are um, done like they're the last things to be done before the actual score goes in and everything for movies and TV. So like basically whenever they're basically filming just their lines in
Hmm.
some sounds like this, but like it'd be super soft like with just a camera.
Yeah.
Um so I did Foley and I did all the sound effects that night after filming and editing. Um I made all the sound effects from random stuff I found around the apartment. Um and the actual screech that the Screecher does was Mateo's screech I did when filming, which is
Yeah.
really funny. But then I layered it 3 more times, different pitches of me doing kind of the same screech. So it kind of starts off soft and then grows and grows into
Hmm.
distorted kind of screeches. And then Mateo supplied all the screaming
Hmm.
through a pillow at the very end, and um, the screech running from the floor to the carpeted stairs. I used my feet going on the wood and then going onto a rug.
Yeah.
I made a lot of that. Um, yeah, and I learned from that as well because that was my first time actually doing kind of like cuts that
Hmm.
needed to be seamless, and some of them are really choppy. But I learned from that as well. But a lot of them I did in uh, one take. The
Hmm.
bathroom one was my favorite because it worked
Yeah.
out so
That was
well.
cool.
Um, some like horror tropes I'd put in there, like when he reaches out of the couch and stuff with the claw.
Yeah.
Um, there was like my little Freddy Krueger kind of nod. Um, when he appears in the window in the door,
And then
you
like
do
totally
that.
disappears when you
Yeah,
look back.
you see that, and then the mirror shot, like in the bathroom
Mhm.
again, and then the one where you are. Favorite one is the long ass take of you staring at him
Like
just
just
in the
staring back.
darkness and staring back. Nothing's happening for like two
Yeah.
times because that's the part of the time where like because I've seen horror movies where the people are just staring at the thing that's trying to kill
You're
them,
like,
and you're like,
bro,
literally
run.
run.
You
What are you
can
doing?
leave.
And like that's
You
what I
can
was
leave.
doing, and then it was really funny.
Hmm.
And then like closing the door, and then coming back and it's not there, but then oh, it's right there, kind of thing.
Mm.
You want to talk about it?
Maybe. I do remember being very tired and not really wanting to do anything, but I did it anyway. Um, we did it in like 2 hours. We were done. It was
Not
really
even.
yeah, less than 2 hours, and it was just another interesting sort of, I guess, method. Just lots of silence and having to like I had to act with no direction.
Yeah, that one I didn't really do much direction because I wasn't feeling good, so I was kind
Yeah,
of just like,
it's
I
okay.
need to just get this done. Tell them about the low main,
The lo
the
mein.
low main.
Yeah, well, there's a scene where the character is sitting on the couch, sitting down to dinner, and like he's got a glass of or like a can of tea and lo mein. But the thing with the lo mein was it was like pork lo mein or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm a vegetarian, so I could not take a bite. So I had to like be there with this, I guess, prop lo mein and like subtly not eat it. Like act like I'm naturally just sitting down and ready to eat my food, but I know that there's no way I can ever eat this. So it was just
Yeah, I made sure like
interesting mindset.
there was a sound right before you take a bite, and it was
Yeah, I'm
really
like went
funny.
to take a bite and I was like,
Right behind you is the actual Screech mask. That
right
one
up
where
here.
Mateo wore and everything, and he wore this whole black outfit.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's about 10 minutes. The there wasn't really a score that I could do because it wasn't it was kind of both silent and sounds.
Yeah.
Um, because you actually had some lines that you
Hmm.
improvised and stuff. That's why I didn't have much direction to give because I wasn't a silent.
It did have sound. Yeah.
Um, but you didn't really have much lines, just a few and stuff. Uh, yeah, with the and I did that little horror trope that like whenever there's like the creature or serial killer like jump scare and you hear the loud.
Yeah.
I did that, and how I did it was I took my violin and just took the bow and just went and tried different pitches, high pitches, and until it sounded right, and just go
Mm.
on it, and then
That's
like
probably
whenever,
how they do it
yeah,
with the
I
violin.
think they would, I think they actually do, maybe, or I'm talking out my ass. Um, I do that. But no, I did like a kind of since there was no score, I kind of like used my resources and I um used the violin as like a kind of score-ish thing
Hmm.
for the screecher. So whenever he kind of is there, there's this like underscoring of like not no notes, just like the bow going against the violin to create an unsettling sound.
Yeah.
And then during the credits, I used my favorite piece that my friend Sean did for a show that we did like our first semester at college. It was called the Greenhouse theme, and it was honestly my favorite piece because we
Mm.
basically did what I was doing that night too, just improvising. I was like, "All right, Sean, you know music, write some music for this play.
Mm.
I'll be there to show you. Like, I want this to be that. I want this to be a transition type thing." And honestly, it was pretty good.
It did turn out
It
pretty
did
good.
turn out good. Um, Next topic.
Next topic. Hmm.
We will do some more short films in the future.
That's true.
Um, I'm actually a co-owner of a film and theater production company called Eighth House Studio, um, which we were in the me, Jake, and Mateo were all in the first like stage production of it, of first stage production under Eighth House,
Yeah.
which was the Aliens, and oh my gosh, I love the Aliens.
The best play
Oh, it was so
of
good.
all.
Yeah, and then I just finished wrapping up uh, a short film that I wrote and directed, but actually had like a budget and really fantastic actors. Oh my gosh.
It's gonna be
Called
so awesome.
Unknown, and it's just about, well, you were my boom guy,
I
so
was the
this
boom
time you
guy.
were like behind the camera and
Yeah.
everything. So it's basically just a chess match of strength and wit between a detective and serial killer, and I had amazing actors and amazing crew. And I will have some more short films out coming in the future under Eighth House. I might do a few in Ripped Jeans as well, but who knows? Yeah, so this was your first time actually like just behind the camera. How did that actually how was your experience? I didn't actually get to hear it.
You never asked.
I'm sorry.
I thought it was really nice
No spoilers.
because yeah, no spoilers.
No spoilers.
But being an actor has so much pressure on it that it often stresses me out when I'm thinking about it. And like obviously there's a little bit of pressure being the boom guy cuz like the sound is dependent on you.
What does a boom guy do?
The,
I know, but they don't.
Oh my gosh, thanks for the leading questions.
Thank you.
So the boom mic operator is the guy who like controls where the microphone is because obviously you have the camera recording the video, but you also have a microphone doing external sound. So for each shot, the camera is going to be somewhere else, but then the microphone is also going to be somewhere else. So I get to carry around this big ass stick with a big microphone attached to the end, and I get to stand right behind and like hold it wherever it needs to be. And I can like hold it closer to whichever actor is speaking in a certain shot or like in between and stuff like that. And yeah.
Yeah, we worked really close together because when I was directing, I also wrote it, but I also wanted to learn. I like to learn everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like that. I like to act. I like to direct. I like to costume design. I like to film. I like to do sound. I like to do props. I like to put my foot in everything and learn everything, editing, that kind of thing. So it was my first time actually using a film camera. So I wanted to learn how to do that, and it was actually really, really easy. So I couldn't control the sound. Jake was there, and he was like tethered with the cords to the little camera.
There was a very, very short cord attached to the camera and attached to it was attached to my headphones.
Oh yeah.
Because obviously the boom was attached to the camera, but that was a long cord. The headphones to the camera was very short, so I was like this far away from the camera at all times, which was difficult when Ethan forgot that and would like go to jerk in an opposite direction, and I'm like, dude, my head is attached to where you're going. But yeah.
Yeah, like I like to have a lot of things I'd like to I like to do backstage. I like to do on stage. I like to design. Like I do some puppet designs as well, or just little headpieces and everything. Jake and I, we didn't really we we didn't really discuss how we actually met and stuff.
Oh,
which is funny because probably the only people that will see this is our moms.
Yeah.
Hi mom.
Hey mom.
But no, we actually just we met my first semester at college, but it wasn't yours. That was
no, I was in my second year.
You were in your second year.
So.
and we met in an intro to theater class, which
Yeah.
was really fun. Uh, fun fact: when I first saw this guy, I literally thought he was. I thought I thought he was taking it for an easy A,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, because slightly me out of high school, I really loved theater, but I also thought it was going to be an easy A as well. But it was actually tough at
Not an
times.
easy A.
Um, but yeah, and then we just started hanging out because we did the play in the fall that
Mm-hmm.
was at the college. Um, and then we became close after that because then we during like after that one we did the the final for that class, which was to put on a play. The class has put on a play, and we did that, and I directed and also acted in that, and
Mm-hmm.
did set design and painting it and stuff because I hated myself and costumes because I don't know. I like to have my foot in everything. I want to try everything, but I
Mm-hmm.
mainly just stress myself to the max. And
Yeah.
uh, but no. So we and like what was that like almost that was like almost 3 years ago.
I think more like 2.
No, 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 because last fall was a year ago. Remember? So
Yeah. So it's approaching the next fall, which will have been 2 years ago.
oh fuck, you're right. Never mind. Yeah, but
Don't scare me like that.
yeah, 2022 was 6 years ago.
I'll start to believe it.
Um, but no, we did the play in the class. Then we went and did what was the next thing? We did a live read through of a play
Mm-hmm.
together. Then we did the musical in the spring,
Mm-hmm.
and then we did a paid acting gig, a Shakespeare Midsummer Night's Dream in the summer, and then after that we started doing the aliens for
Mm-hmm.
Eighth House after meeting this incredible guy Christopher who directed it. We
Mm-hmm.
met him over Midsummer, and then we did the Rocky Horror Shadowcast that I directed, and it was really fun. I was
Mm-hmm.
Frankenfurter, he was Rocky.
I was Rocky.
Um, and then put on the aliens, and then we did after that we did Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
and then after Chicago after Chicago.
We just sort of started. I don't know. What did we do after Chicago?
Oh my god, that was like in the spring, and now it's summer. Um, I think we took like a little rest. We
I
didn't really
think
have
so.
anything to do mostly. Then we did. Then we got casted in this upcoming musical.
Mm-hmm.
That's a new musical, written by local artists.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and then future projects. So how many is that we've done in like a row? That's
I
let's
don't
see,
even know.
that one,
Eight
and then we got
Million,
that one.
Orestes, Lightning
That's
Thief,
Thief, Midsummer, Aliens,
Aliens,
um, Rocky Horror,
Chicago.
Chicago, and now Hero. Dang, we're almost at 10
We're
in a
doing a
row. Dang,
in like 2 years.
in
That's
like two
crazy.
years. Yeah, holy cow.
We're just doing stuff all the time.
I like to keep busy
Yeah,
because whenever there's nothing going on, I kind of just am waiting for the next project.
yeah. Sometimes I like having a break though.
Having a break is
I
is beneficial, but
haven't had
sometimes
enough break.
it's kind of just like you know, um, you definitely like acting more than doing backstage, though, right?
I think so. I really, really do love acting. I like dancing. I like
Hmm.
singing. That's why I really want to
Oh,
get into musical
sing more,
theater.
sing something. If
Sing
you're such a
something?
singer, nothing copyrighted. Make something up.
Okay. It's inspired by that sign over there.
Okay.
You pick pops and apples. They're tasty. Yeah. So Yeah,
casting directors.
Julia wants me, so no.
Yeah. Well, you are an incredible actor. That's why you're always in the top of my head whenever I need to cast something,
Oh,
because we did the aliens. Let's talk about the aliens.
yeah.
Yeah,
You want to
let's.
talk about the?
I do
aliens?
want to talk about the aliens. I kind of like this segue that we have. That
Okay.
this kind of we have a kind of theme. We have this kind of theme going
Yeah.
on. So, yeah. So the aliens was written by Annie Baker. Wait. Should we not do this? Should we have Mateo on and talk about the aliens
Yeah.
and Christopher?
We can wait to talk about the
Yeah, well,
aliens.
talk. I'll cut. I might cut this part, but
Mhm.
yeah. Do you want to talk about kind of like, I don't know, our friendship since we met, kind of?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted to bring up like first impressions because you sort of brought up your first
Yeah.
impression of me. My first impression, well, in this class there was like me and Ethan and then three other guys.
Yeah.
So
One of them dropped. Wait, two of them dropped.
two of them dropped?
So it
Oh,
was.
there was that one guy
Yeah.
too. So
So there was.
well,
It
Sean
was.
and Greg were
It was
there.
you, me, Sean, Greg, Nate,
Nate,
Jake, and yeah, and
I keep forgetting about
Jack.
people. Jack and Nate.
Jack and Nate, and
And then
then
there was another older guy there
yeah,
for like 2
for
days.
2 days,
There's a lot of people.
and then we met Jazz.
Yeah.
She
But
came later.
but Sean was there,
Yes.
and he was someone I knew because I had done. He also played trumpet, so I had seen him in like All County and stuff. We'd be playing trumpet together,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Hey, I think I know you from somewhere." And for some reason, I thought I also recognized Ethan, so I said,
I did do it once.
"I think I know you from somewhere too, maybe." And he was like, "No, probably not."
Yeah.
So that was my first impression. I thought
What a
I knew
great
you.
impression.
I thought I knew you, and I didn't. So, but
I don't know. I did All County once,
mhm.
like middle school. So I don't think.
I wasn't doing it in middle school though. So I don't know.
Well, they combined it. So like, you were in ninth grade when I was in 8th grade, which is when I did it.
Maybe.
So I was middle school. You probably maybe did it in.
I don't know when I
Yeah,
started doing
I
it,
don't fucking know.
but yeah. And then I don't even really know how the apartment came to be.
Oh, I do.
You remember?
Kind of. It's
I
kind of
barely
fuzzy.
remember.
Um, you were living in the dorms, which
Mhm.
was kind of hell on earth at times.
Yeah.
And I was still living with my parents and still in a room with a bunk bed with my middle brother. Oh my god. And I lived like 15 minutes away from campus, which was kind of hard because I like to sleep in, and when you have like math class at 8 a.m., it doesn't really
hard.
make you want to get up.
Yeah.
And wasting gas, kind of. So I kind of wanted to get an apartment here in town around the college,
Mhm.
but everything was expensive, so I wanted a roommate. And I heard from the grapevine that you didn't want to live in the dorms anymore.
Well, it wasn't even just that. It was I was graduating.
Oh yeah.
So, but I still
That's right.
wanted to live in.
Yeah.
For a couple different reasons.
And you said the name of the town. Now people know where we live.
Oh,
I'll bleep it.
okay.
Okay. I'll cut all that.
Yeah.
Go back to what you were saying. You wanted to live
But
where?
yeah, I wanted to live here. So like it wasn't even just about not wanting to live in the dorms.
Yeah. I knew you were graduating. Like I heard it from Jazz that you were looking
Mm-hmm.
as well, or you wanted to still live in town
Yeah.
and stuff. And I was like, oh, perfect. I like Jake. Jake's fun. We get along. We act stupid together.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, hey, you want to try and get an apartment? And you were like, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You were excited. I remember the
Yeah.
night when I texted you that.
Yeah.
You were really excited. So meanwhile, it was like what, I think 2 weeks of us just going on Facebook Marketplace and just looking
Yeah.
up the apartments saying, hey, this looks cool. And we're like, like, we can't afford that.
And then we never get anything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 2 bedrooms. It was like, what? It's like more than 700 around here,
It was a lot.
especially for us. And then we were kind of like giving up at a certain point. We were just kind of like not really giving up, but we were kind of just like going off the topic, kind of just like imagining ourselves in the apartment. Like we were like, let's get a cat, instead of actually like,
Yeah, like
get like
getting
yeah,
the
getting
apartment
the
first.
apartment. And then I remember one day you asked if your partner Jazz, she could
Mhm.
um she could, because she lives far away like you,
Mhm.
um like join us and stuff. And I was like, oh my god, another person,
Yeah.
less rent I have to
I think
pay.
that started because of Midsummer.
Yeah,
Because
it
she
did,
wanted to
because it
be
was
in the
around here,
area.
because she doesn't drive.
Yeah.
um
So it's like it's perfect. All three of us will live here
yeah,
and we'll be right there for rehearsals
yeah. and
and
then
everything will be great.
and then there was going to be a fourth person, our friend Emma, because she wanted to move out of her parents, I remember.
Mhm.
And so it was going to be the four of us
Yeah.
going at it and stuff. But then, and then Emma's dad, he was our first landlord, and he actually, Emma told us that he was re refurbishing
Renovating?
renovating.
Refurbishing works, I guess.
You do that with a carpet. um
He was refurbishing.
yeah, he was refurbishing. I can't speak.
That's okay.
um an apartment here in Corning, and it was like, what, like 5 minutes away from campus and everything.
Mhm.
Um,
We were like,
so we're
this is
like,
literally
perfect.
perfect.
Yeah, and he knew me because I went to high school with Emma and everything, and he knew
Mhm.
us from, because she did the shows with us at the
Mhm.
college. Um, and she was also in Midsummer.
Mhm.
So it was going to be us four living in one side of the apartment was finished.
Mhm.
So we were all going to live in that one side. Didn't really have a lot of space, but
Yeah.
it was okay for the time being. But then Emma decided not to come
Mhm.
because of financial stuff, I think, right?
Yeah. Probably a couple different reasons.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Then we were like, oh, it's okay. We can afford the three of us, and then we'll find a fourth later,
Mhm.
because that one side didn't really hold four people. Like,
Yeah.
I lived in the dining room. I lived in a bed in a dining room for about 3 months.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, it was. Well, at least I was close to the kitchen.
That's true. That means
Um,
I had to walk through your bedroom to get to the kitchen every morning, though.
yeah, I know, but
But that's life.
at least you guys woke me up.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes, yeah. But yeah, then 3 months. Oh, that period, that was fun because we were like, I don't know. It was like after our first year of getting to know each other and everything,
Yeah.
and then developing our friendship through the shows and with classes, and now another show, and then now we're living together.
Hmm.
So it was really fun.
It's like the honeymoon period.
Yeah, before we were like, how are we gonna afford rent this month?
We're like, we don't have well paying jobs. I don't even have a job, basically. We're like, we can't afford anything.
Yeah, you and Jazz had like
We have to be
5
around
different jobs within that
people.
summer, huh?
Yeah, it was interesting.
Um, and then after Midsummer, or like during it, Jazz mentioned that her friend from high school is going to go to the college, and he lived where Jazz lived, and he doesn't drive at all,
Mm-hmm.
Mateo.
Mateo.
And we were like, oh, okay. And I would be the one living with him. So I was very nervous to meet him, I thought I didn't get along with him at all.
Mhm.
First, it was awkward, but then he's a pretty cool guy.
Mhm.
He thinks he's very funny, though. His ego is like,
I think he's very funny.
you're encouraging his ego.
We're on like similar levels of finding each other funny.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
ooh, ain't that the truth?
But yeah, then he moved in. Well, this side was finally finished renovating, and it kind of looks like a jigsaw puzzle put together.
Renovating. I don't know. It's okay.
Yeah,
It's better than I could have done.
true. Then we just moved in, and it was the four of us, and things were going well for a while, and then we got this new landlord who we don't like that much. So
Yeah.
but it was actually fun because Jake and I, Jazz knew Mateo, of course, before Jake and I did. So we were kind of like, oh, a new person. But we got to know Mateo very close because we did the aliens with him. Like he auditioned like before he even like fully moved in and stuff.
Yeah.
And boom, he's perfect for
Boom.
it. And oh my gosh, that show was amazing. We'll talk about it in a different episode.
We'll talk about it when we got the homies.
We gotta get the homies. Yeah. So that's basically our story. Kind of. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Maybe not tonight.
Maybe.
I think we've talked about a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, I think so. So I think we should do this maybe every week.
Every week, why not?
Or maybe twice a week. What do you think? Depending on
whatever
schedule.
We feel like.
Yeah.
My mom does a podcast.
She does?
Once.
You want to give her a plug?
I have to remember what it's called.
You don't know your mom's podcast.
I've never listened to it. I'm a fake fan.
You are a fake fan.
I think it's called Grow with Tea. And she does it with some of her friends, and I don't know what platform it's on. But I'm sure it's
Son of the Year over here.
I'm sure it's a good listen. She's not gonna watch this. She's not gonna watch 40 minutes of us.
Is it 40 minutes?
I don't know.
I don't even know.
I'm guessing. Is that a
5? It's almost an hour.
Almost
I think this is a perfect time, honestly.
Okay.
I watch a podcast. I watched the It's Always Sunny podcast.
Yeah.
They just talk about the episodes, and each one's about 55 minutes long.
Yeah.
I think it's a
standard podcast.
Yeah, it's standard podcast. An hour, I think, is fine.
I can't watch podcasts. They don't.
Do you listen to them at all?
No.
You should.
They don't do it for me.
No, I do. I listen. I think it's fun, and I also think it's fun when they actually do both, just the audio and the visual, because sometimes it's funny to watch the videos.
Yeah, I like watching videos.
Because with this, you're just watching a video.
Yeah.
Instead of doing listening to a podcast.
Yeah.
So you have a visual stimulant. But yeah, maybe we'll set goal twice a week, but at least once a week kind of thing.
Why not?
Yeah. And we'll have people on the shows and
Maybe
everything.
Charlie will give us a goodbye.
Oh my gosh, Charlie!
Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, do you want to sing us out?
Yeah, what do I say?
Just sing. Sing us out. Sing us with a melody.
Jeans, ripping my jeans. She's ripping my jeans all night. Rip jeans, rip jeans. She's ripping my jeans. She's ripping my jeans all night.